Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole from Made from Scrap, and I'm going to do a run through of my album that I created using Country Bunny. That is a paper line exclusively available through countrycraftcreations.com, and it was designed by Tamra Merrill. The album that I'm going to show you measures 9 inches by 9 inches, and the spine is 2 inches wide. So let's get started. On the front cover, I just showcased one of the sheets of paper. I cut out a duplicate of this little butterfly in order to give some movement here on the cover, and then I used a couple of metal filigree pieces. I used some Tim Holtz vintage photo distress ink throughout the album as well. So on the inside front cover, I have a waterfall on the left hand side, and I used a belly band closure with a magnet. I did some fussy cutting throughout this book and again inked the edges. So this allows for this waterfall to move. Then I did a pocket here on the inside cover, and I used some of my dies in my stash to cut out a couple of sentiments throughout the book, and this is in a gold foil right here. And I have a bookmark here, and then I used some seam binding to give myself a little pull tab in order to open up this flap of the waterfall and create some additional space for photographs. Here underneath is one of the two sheets that has the children's clothing on it, and this is the large little girl's dress. On the right hand side, which is the front of the first page, I have a couple of flaps, and I've used some My Colors cardstock and some glimmer sheets throughout this book. I've done a lot of fussy cutting like I mentioned, and these are a couple of flaps. See that floral paper there? And then this is also magnetized. So you have this dark brown, and then you have this more taupe color here. And this one flips open, and of course you have these lovely little bunnies and more flowers. This paper is just gorgeous. Now each one of these pages has a pull-out which measures 8 inches tall and 8 3/4 inches wide. I used a whole stack of cardstock in order to do this book. That's 25 sheets of cardstock. So here's the first pop-up page, and you can see that I had that sign pop up. Again, some additional foil, and then I used one of my other dies in order to make this picture frame here and here. And this is an easy fold, V-fold, that I'll be showing in the tutorial how to do. Next page comes over here. I did some fussy cutting. You have that muted paper that's on the back sides, and then again some of that taupe paper. Here's that polka dotted yellow paper, and you can see just to the right the little bunny poking out through the bottom of the fence. And he's just so super sweet. So I'm going to open this flap, and that's another pop-up. So I'll show you how to do this mechanism, which it is attached to the flap, and then it pulls it in the upright position. So in this case, this paper reminded me of Mr. McGregor's garden, where this little bunny rabbit, he's just trying to sneak his way into Mr. McGregor's garden and eat up some of his little carrots. You can see that, but I created some carrots there. Just hand cut them. Okay, that's that one. Next, this is a flap that was magnetized, and that flap opens up like this. You see that gorgeous paper with the script on it and the text, the blotches of spilled coffee stains, and then of course those flowers with those butterflies. And this is a very simple mechanism to do. So again, this page pulls this mechanism, and you have, in this case, the bunny with the basket on it. I've used some white artisan cardstock throughout. Next page, I have used some seam binding here for closure. So we'll open this up. And then I have this small flap here that opens. You see that diamond shape there. This is that boy paper with the clothing, and this opens up this way, and you have some more photograph areas there. Then you have another magnetized piece which opens up some smaller areas for photograph there in another waterfall. On this right hand side you have this additional fussy cut bunny, and I created this little wheelbarrow just by hand cutting some shapes and then dyeing them, inking them with some distress ink. I pulled out a couple of these flat backs from my stash, and then I cut out the signature title from the paper line to use it here. Again, some seam binding, and then this just pulls out like that. So this one, there's plenty of space here if you want to put some photographs as well. It also opens up like this and flips up. Okay, next page. Now you have that very cute little bunny down on the floor, flat as can be, hanging out by this beautiful basket of flowers. Some more die cutting, and then you have here an overlapping angled pocket, and I just have stashed some of the extra color cardstock in here so I can use it for pictures. Now, I mentioned that I used a whole collection of cardstock for this album, and I didn't have enough large sheets left for the fourth pull-out by the time I was done with the album, but I did have a couple of strips that were left over, and they were long enough that I could cut them to length, and then I pulled out some washi tape here to create this large page for the pull-out. So that's one way to use your scraps. And here's the last page of the album. It is the inside back cover. You have that lovely little boy's outfit, cute as could be. Another sentiment here. It says sparkle in this case. And then this gorgeous watch that I fussy cut out, and I used some glossy accents to make it look like it was glass there, and I did glossy accents also on this little butterfly that is fussy cut. And then throughout the album I also used some Spectrum Noir sparkle, in order to give some shimmer, you know, to a couple of the fussy cuts, I guess. Here's another waterfall on that back cover, and then I have a flip out here. There's the tab for that flip, and that is just seam binding there as well. And you just got a little bookmark to use. You could do some journaling on that. But I hope you've enjoyed this album, and I look forward to helping you create something that has some pop-up mechanisms in it. Thanks for joining me. Happy crafting! Bye!